Hi everybody and welcome back. My name's Melissa and this year I'm sharing 365 tips for frugal living. Today's tip is it costs nothing to be kind. $0.00. It is absolutely free to just be nice to people. And I'm bringing it up because honestly it's been kind of a shit week. And the thing is, so there's been some people who in real life have been really mean and nasty, and some people who've been like really incredibly nice, where sometimes it's just a friendly smile of a coworker. I mean, I do shifts, so I don't really have coworkers per se. I'm an independent contractor, but I do a lot of orders a week. So I'm in uh I'm in certain stores a lot, and the three stores I'm in most, I know a lot of the people who like check me out per se or whatever, like who do the like there's a thing on the app if you do Shipt or I'm sure Instacart, and they have to like review the order or whatever. But who've come to know me and who've I'm one of those people who you can see on my face what I'm thinking, and it's been one of those weeks and everything keeps going wrong. Um like right now my ring light is 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 strobing or whatever. It's I don't know. I mean, you wouldn't notice it. You probably don't see it. If you do see it, if you see it flashing, let me know. One, yes, Melissa, your light is doing that, and you can see it in the camera. And two, if you can see it in the camera, please, please, please let me know. If you see flicker everywhere, if you have sensory challenges or something like, or migraines or neurodivergence or, autism or ADHD, anything like that. Like, you don't have to even let me know specifically. Just like, you know, let me, let me know, because for me, like the more stressed I get, I feel like the more obvious flicker becomes and the louder electricity becomes, and it's just so horrible. But okay, so I I've been struggling for the past couple of weeks, just exhausted and going, and things keep going wrong. I started my seeds and my soil turned hydrophobic, which if you don't know, that means it won't absorb water. And I don't know if you know this, but in order for seeds to start, you need water. So I was like, okay, well, what do I do now? Well, I looked up, you need a seed rewetting thing, and you can make your own out of agar, which I was like, oh, great. I think I have some of that in the cabinet. So I used to be vegan, and agar is essentially like a vegan form of gelatin. So I was gonna like make my own Jello when I was vegan because I had a hankering for Jello, and then I didn't make it, so it sat in the cabinet. And so I guess I must have gotten rid of it when I was cleaning out the pantry recently, because it's not in there now and I can't find it anywhere. And unfortunately now it's like $7, $8, $9 on Amazon, and nowhere local sells it. So I'd have to go through Amazon or Vitacost. So though I do have a few sprouts, so none of my ground cherries are coming in, which makes me super sad. Um, so that's gone wrong. One of my favorite shirts doesn't fit anymore. For those of you who are newer to the channel or haven't heard, I have lost over 130 pounds, almost 140. At one point it was 140, but we'll get to why it's not 140 and why it's another bad thing about the week again. But I called my mom because my mom before my mom had me, she was actually in school for fashion design. So when I was like little, she used to make all of my clothes out of remnants, and she didn't even use a pattern. She like designed them, created them all herself. So I thought, well, maybe she still has that skill set. You know, I mean, it's been a few years, a few decades. Um, so I called and asked her, and she's like, no. And she told me, just so you know, sleeves are the absolute hardest thing to alter. You're going to have to experiment with them. Okay, great. And then she wanted to talk about my body and why it is so funny shaped. And I didn't want to talk about that. And I told her. And so, it just made me even more upset. And then, by the end of the conversation, I was no longer talking and I was in tears because all she had to do was, when I said to drop it because it wasn't a topic for discussion, was drop it. But she couldn't. And so instead, I ended up in tears and we ended up in a fight. And so I was miserable there. I keep running into things, not like with my car, like with my body. Like I'm very very out of sorts and clumsy and running into everything. And it's been tough, and I've been trying to make money, and I've been trying to lose weight, and I got so frustrated the other day, and cravings and hormones and everything was going wrong, and I was in tears and I was cranky, and I don't know if this is like perimenopause or what. And so what did I do? I went and bought frozen pizza and ice cream, and I gorged, and I gained like 7 pounds. Another bad thing. So and granted, I was the one who chose to buy the pizza and the ice cream and eat it. I was the one who, chose to call my mom and know that uh you know I'm just a reflection of her. I am her greatest disappointment, and yeah, she doesn't know about this channel. Lord only knows what she would think. She would definitely have. She would definitely, I would definitely not be good enough. Um, and then my Aldi video went up and a few days ago, and it was popular, and like some of my regulars were like, oh well, here, like, because they understood, because they've seen me struggle to cut things, they know my hands don't always work, and they know that so they in their truest, kindest fashion, like some of my regular followers were like, well, try this or try that, and like one of them was trying to explain to me, and I'm like, I've tried that and it doesn't work for me. And I was like, and I understand why it should work scientifically, but here's what the problem is, because my hands don't always work. In addition to, I've always struggled with my hands. My dad cut my meat until I was 30. I mean, like, I could cut it into bite-sized pieces, but like I couldn't get it off the bone. I couldn't defat it. And then once I had a kid of my own, he finally was like, you know what? He's like, I don't care how much she weighs. She's got to learn how to do this at this point. I mean, she's got a kid of her own. She's got to learn. So, now he just takes my meat scraps when he's around, and, cuts them up for the dog because Lord knows there's plenty of food left. So, my hands didn't work to begin with. I've never been that coordinated. Writing was tough. And I have neat handwriting now, but I struggled. I always got poor grades in penmanship. It took me until middle school to have legible writing. I don't know what made it finally click and what made me finally figure it out. And now I kind of have this weird cross between like print and cursive, but it took a long time for me to learn handwriting, and My mom had incredibly neat handwriting, and my mom and my grandma were always like, "It's so easy. Why do you struggle with this? Just try a little harder. Just practice." I was like, "I am." Like, you don't get it. It's just very hard for me. So fine motor skills have always been somewhat of a challenge for me. So I've developed certain things, like I'm really good at peeling eggs normally. And I have figured out how to do it, but for some reason, uh, all the eggs frequently give me a hard time. And I've peeled other brands. I have done like Farm Fresh, and none of them have given me the same struggle as Aldi does. But the thing is that Aldi can, like, their coloring's off too. Like, and I'm not just talking about like how a Farm Fresh egg has that like deeper, oranger, creamier texture, color, whatever. I'm talking about in general, like their color is just, it's an odd shade, we'll say. And I don't know how to explain. It's just a weird shade. And I notice things like that. I see colors that nobody else does, apparently. Uh, a few years ago, my entire family got into an argument about the pink towels. I'm like, they're pink. And they're like, they're not pink. They're white. They're gray. They're this. I'm like, they're pink. And so finally I brought out one of like the older towels. And I'm like, how can you not see that this is still pink? And I'm like, and they thought that maybe I just remembered it. But no, I can look at very, very light pink and tell that it's pink. My kid, on the other hand, has like on and off color blindness. So I don't know. But it's been just like this really, really hard week. But oh, and then the Aldi video. So I forgot. Okay. So that's where I was at. So some of you guys were like really nice, and like they're like, "Oh, okay, I get it now. It's a combination, your hand thing and everything, right?" And now I have Raynaud, so it even adds to it. So now my uncoordinated hands, if they get cold, it's even worse. But like I can't do like I've tried the whole like ice method that like makes it worse, because like that like membrane sticks to the egg funny. I've done the run it under cold water thing. That sometimes works, but for me, I have to peel them while they're still hot, and I don't know why. Like the water kind of, that's what works for me. And with the Aldi thing, it wasn't just the eggs. I mean, the eggs were like the last straw. I mean, their chicken is more expensive than Meijer's regular price. And a bunch of other things. Like if you look, they're not cheaper. They're not any cheaper than Walmart. They're not any cheaper than Target. They're not any cheaper than Meijer. They're cheaper than Whole Foods. Woohoo! Big prize for you. Some of the littler grocers, they're cheaper than on their normal price items for certain things like eggs and butter and stuff. But look at their buying power. They should be cheaper than these little guys. But then when the little guys get a good sale, they pass it on to the consumer. And then somebody called me a nitwit, and that really, really upset me. Like it costs nothing to be nice. You didn't have to comment. You didn't have to call the disabled girl a nitwit, because trust me, plenty of people have. If I wanted to be called a nitwit, I could have called my mom. You don't have to, you don't have to choose toxicity. So that said, I've obviously had a pretty crap week, but there's been some good things. Oh, and then today, oh my God, my first delivery. I'm allergic to marijuana. I found out when I was in college. It creates issues breathing. I don't smoke pot. There's actually a great concern that if I were to, I would experience anaphylaxis because I struggle so much when the secondhand smoke is around me. Like I choke and I cough and I gasp for air. Um, you know. So she opened up the door and oh my God, like I could not breathe. And I'm like handing her the bags of groceries like this, and she's high as fuck. Like you could see she was high. And I was struggling to breathe. I almost fell down the stairs, right? So it's been a rough day. Oh, and then tonight, come home, my stinking shower broke. Like I have one of the ones where you can like remove the handle thing, and like the thing that holds it broke. So I mean I'll replace it tomorrow, but it was hair washing night. It would have been nice to not have to like deal with that. But there have been some good things, but more so than good things, there have been good people. So uh just I'll start with a stranger. Yesterday I went into Sephora and I was in a rather busy town, and it was a downtown area where parking is difficult and traffic and construction. And I went in and I don't know if I looked so incredibly clueless or if I looked like the type of person who doesn't shop at Sephora. And today's hair washing day. So for those of you who've seen a lot of my videos, you know that like my hair can get like really messy. And she came up and she asked, and she was like so sweet. And she's like, I was like, do you know where you find this product? And she's like, yeah, I'll take you there. Like, she didn't just even point me. She like, and then she's like, how many things do you need? Do you need more than like one or two? Or are you going to need a basket? I'm like, I might. So she helped me find everything. And then she like took me and she checked me out so I didn't have to wait in line, and so that I could get on my date. And she was like so sweet. Her name, I want to say her name was Jen. She was just like petite little thing. She was so incredibly sweet. And, I needed a win, and she gave it to me and she made my day. It cost her nothing to be kind. And that kindness, like, it made it so that I was able to make it through the rest of my day. Today, first order, I'm in Target checking out. And this girl, I know her, right? Like, we see each other all the time. And she's like, wow, she's like, you look how I'm going to look in a few hours. So I'm like, this is my first order. I'm like, is it that obvious? She's like, rough week, huh? I was like, yes. But we've coincidentally, like, she was off and then the day I took off. So, like, we haven't seen each other in like 4 or 5 days, really. And we normally see each other every day. So, a few times a day. And so she's like, yeah, you can tell it's been a rough week. Are you going to be okay? And so it was nice that she just said, she noticed that I was struggling and she took the time to care. And that was nice. It didn't cost her anything. And then, oh my gosh, I screwed up so bad. And I went to the wrong store, and then I had to explain to this person that I'm at the wrong store. I am so sorry. I'm going to be a little, and she's like, it's okay. Drive safe. And I ended up being a little bit late with our delivery, like 10 to 13 minutes, something like that. But she was really nice about it. And she understood that, we all make mistakes. And she was also one of my regulars too. So she knows that I'm normally really good I'm normally early or on time. I am really good about checking produce. I'm the girl who will call and say, who will message you, the lemons are mushy, the bananas are spotty, the lettuce is wilted. Do you really want it? Bread expires in 5 days. Are you going to use it by then, or do you want to wait? So because I do that and everything, my regulars know. And so, but she could have been a jerk about it, but she wasn't. She was like, oh, geez, you have to drive all the way to the store. Take your time, drive safe. It's okay. Um, it cost her nothing to be nice. So sometimes, and then, and then on one of my videos, somebody said they really liked the chill nature of my video, and I really needed a win today. And hearing that was like so nice, like it made my day. And so a lot of people don't realize, like, it costs you nothing to be nice. It is absolutely free, but you can, like, really turn around somebody's day when they're having a bad day. And a lot of you have at different times when, because 365 tips, that was a really big goal to set out as a new creator. And I really hope that I am able to make it. I'm way behind on my book. I'm at least a month behind on my book. But I'm going to keep going, and it costs absolutely nothing for y'all to be kind, and some of you are so kind, and there's a lot of you who have either given advice or just said something nice, or just given encouragement, or any number of things. And when you do, it really, really makes my day. And honestly, I've only had maybe 3 or 4 people who've said something that was negative. I'm still a pretty small creator, and it's a frugal channel. I'm never going to be as big as Mr. Beast or any of them, but I don't think I'd want to be. I wouldn't want to be able to, like, you probably can't go anywhere. Like, that's got to be miserable. But I just want you to know, when you guys do leave nice comments, it really does mean the world to me. And kindness makes my day. It's like, just I'm such a little things kind of a gal. Like, bring me a dozen roses, I could care less. Pick me the first dandelion in spring, I am in love. Like, I am a little things, acts of kindness kind of a person. So it costs nothing to be kind. So I don't know, I'll probably just toss it out as a bonus tip, but today's tip for frugal living is it costs nothing to be kind. So again, my name is Melissa, and this year I'm sharing 365 tips for frugal living. If you want to hear more, please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.